what I've found in my many years of writing is that the real secret sauce of becoming a successful writer and a writer with a long career is community. And this woman, she is a community creator. And so I want her to talk about the community of writers that she has here and what's that's meant to her.
Well, that's so fun, Jennifer. First of all, what a gift it is to have you here with us.
Thank you.
We couldn't scribble fast enough. It was like eating from a fire hose.
We had what, 30?
We had 35.
35, okay.
And
in her beautiful living room, overlooking the water.
Kind of crunched in together, but
perfect.
I never understood about the importance of being with a group of other writers. But when I started getting the nudge toward fiction, I felt so alone because I needed to have the isolation to be able to let my mind go and create this, or actually what I believe God was giving my brain. But having other folks that have already been 2 steps ahead of me kind of build into me and reassure me and give me just those little pointers like, but what if she did that instead? And it just brings in a whole new silo of ideas when someone tweaks what you've already done. It's so exciting. And you talk it through with folks and it makes your ideas stronger, it makes your convictions stronger, it gives you more motivation. And it just is such a gift to have other folks around.
It is. It's only made me a better writer.
And you told us, what, 10 years you've been with the same group?
So in Los Angeles, when I first moved there, I started with a group of writers. We're mostly TV writers, but now we're all kind of branching out into feature and novels and stuff too, but fiction writers. And we started meeting, and we've been meeting for 10 years.
How did that develop? Did you start with 1 or 2 and then you kept adding folks in? How do you know when it's too many people?
Yeah, that's a really good question. For the kind of workshopping group that we have, I think on our email chain there's maybe a dozen, but I would say at any given meeting there's anywhere from 3 to 6 who actually come. And I think that's actually the perfect number. I would say maybe no more than 10 or 12 for a group is like perfect. And it sounds very like elitist, but we're very particular about letting people in. We want to make sure that we're really sharpening each other and not flaking out on each other.
Do you ever worry about, well, gosh, this is really personal and this is very important, text that I am letting go of here.
Right.
Does it ever cross your mind?
No, it really hasn't, because I've known my group for so long. We actually started as a class through Act 1. We were a TV writing class, and that was such a protective group, and our mentors really protected us and made sure that we were protecting each other. So that was laid from the ground, the foundation. And so no, I don't ever worry. Every successful group should have guidelines that are set out. And we did. We set up guidelines, and for sure, a big guideline is like what goes into the group stays in the group. Other guidelines are things like we don't usually allow more than 2 projects per meeting because we really want to focus our attention on each other.
How far in advance does everybody know, okay, these are what we're going to be working on?
Yeah, that varies. I'm always pushing for more time, but a lot of times it doesn't come until maybe the night before, which I think is a little too soon. It's not enough time. I mean,
right.
Every group is different, and it also depends on the amount of work, because we're mostly looking at outlines, treatments, or scripts, which are anywhere from 40 to 60 pages.
Tell us again what treatments is.
Treatments is like a synopsis. It's going to be maybe up to 14 pages or so, 14 to 20. You're basically laying out the whole story. You're
expecting everybody to have read it thoroughly and made some notations or suggestions or critique and come prepared.
Yes. Oh, yeah. Yeah, and if you can't make it, send the notes later. We also have a rule that we start with the circle of love. And that was one rule that we got from one of our original mentors, and who has now passed away. But he always started our classes with the circle of love. So everybody would go around and say what was really working with the project. Not flattery, not false flattery.
I love that.
I know. Not false
then you
flattery.
can take a lot of the hard stuff.
Because sometimes you're like, you really do need to know what is actually going right with this.
Yeah, that is such a good rule of thumb.
Yeah.
Because especially for, a novice at this like I am, we're tender. And we doubt ourselves every day. We're doubting, oh wait, does that work? I'm not sure that works. And then to feel like, okay, I'm going into this meeting, but I'm going to get raked over the coals. So just steel myself against, what's coming. And that's hard to endure.
It is. I think every project we start tender. I feel like that with every new little project that I
You do, even now after all of your experience.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, because every new project is different. So.
This is why we need our groups.
You need your community.
We need our community.
But talk about, you are part of a writing community here. It's huge.
It is huge. It's very exciting.
What did you say, 200? Or
there are, I believe, around 200 members, but not everybody, as you just said, not everybody attends every month. We have a monthly meeting. It's a really nice historic group. I think it started in the late 80s.
Wow,
here in the Seattle area. We do special things. For example, we have this workshop where Jennifer came and taught us, and we host a really fine conference, a writers' conference called the Renewal Conference. We always have nationally known agents and editors and publishers come.
It's nice because you can learn tips on how do I get this published? How do I find an agent? How do I read this contract? Or in craft questions too.
Oh yeah.
So helpful.
And introductions are really valuable.
It's a relationship business. A lot of things we talk about in our group are just things going on in the industry. We just have like friend conversations, like, what's going on in your life? And hey, did you see this thing that's happening? Oh, did you see this person move to that studio or that production company, or this one's looking for that thing? And so it's more than just reading your work.
Yeah, and you feel like you have little tentacles in all those different areas that you could never cover by yourself.
Oh no. Yeah.
And at least in our group, because we're all faith-based, it goes deeper than just sharing our writing and our ideas.
Yeah.
We really do tend to care for one another, and it just gives you a sense of, I'm not in this alone.
Yeah.
Most writers are introverts, right?
Yes.
So I covet my solitude.
Yeah.
I need to just give my mind that quiet, that kind of almost shut down mode to sense what's needed.
Yeah, you have to. I mean, I always say, like, it's okay to live on your island. Like, the island is very nice. You've got the palm trees and the coconut drinks and the sun. Like, the island is a very pleasant place to be for most of us. Yeah. But sometimes we have to get off the island.
Yes.
Go into civilization.
Particularly when we get stuck.
Yeah.
Right.
Community makes you accountable.
Oh, gosh.
Because, I know
How could we forget that?
I know. It's huge. Like, every 2 weeks we're having a meeting, and so we have this one guy in our group, and he's just been so faithful the whole time. He always sends out, okay, we're meeting. Does anybody have stuff? Does anybody have stuff? And so it's that constant reminder, okay, I've got to get my stuff in that slot. I have to, people are waiting in a sense for our stuff,
That prodding is actually a gift. I need to also be aware of my responsibility and my interest in others, to not just be focused on me. True. I need to be asking that question that you just mentioned.
I forget to do that too.
Where are you with your project? How's it going?
Have you heard back from that publisher?
No.
Did you get your pages done?
That's scary questions.
I know.
They're really meant to help, and so I need to be that kind of a friend to my co-writers. So
and you may find people in the group that just need a little mentorship, and you can form a little one-on-one mentorship, or it doesn't always have to be like a huge writers group. It could just be for a certain project or period of time, the two of you are going to hold each other accountable.
Do you think it's necessary that you have sort of parallel stories or projects you're working on for that kind of a maybe short-term relationship?
Maybe, possibly. I don't know. That's a good question. I don't know if it works differently in the novel world. Maybe it does, because I know for me, I don't care if it's a comedy or a drama or sci-fi. Yeah. Because what we're really looking at is the structure solid? Are the characters engaging? I may not necessarily like sci-fi or that world. I don't have to. I just have to be able to give good feedback on if the characters are engaging and following their journey.
Okay, so that's because
that's a personal preference.
And also, you're so well trained with a critical eye and the ability to assess.
Kind of one of the rules in our group, or guidelines, is that if there's something specific you're looking to receive back, to let us know.
Oh.
You know, like if you're saying, like, I think the structure's a mess and I don't know how to fix it, then I'll be looking specifically for structure. Or, I'm just looking for overall, does it flow? Are there any holes in the story? Then I am looking at it with a different eye. So that's helpful, I think, when you're either the writer or the critiquer, is to know what am I looking for here? How can I help this person better? If you don't have a writing community, you should look around your area, because I'm sure you can throw a stone and find one. But if you can't, start one. Start one. I did have a bad writing community experience, though.
Ooh.
And I think that's
we better know about
to talk
that.
about.
Okay.
Because not every writing group is a positive experience. And it was a public group, just a local group of writers, and they wrote all different things. Some wrote poetry, some wrote fiction, some wrote screenwriting. It was kind of a general story group, I guess. Thing. And I was also a newer writer, so I wasn't really sure yet how to take notes. There's a certain maturity about learning how to take notes too, where you're not feeling so insecure and attacked. Like, you have to really kind of learn how to take notes, because not everybody, and here's what the problem was, not everybody knew how to give good notes. To have great success in a writer's group is, number one, set your guidelines. Like, make sure everybody knows the guidelines, maybe has all agreed, maybe together you establish what the guidelines are, but then also that people understand how to give notes. Because, okay, we're always thinking about taking notes, right? I want notes, I want your thoughts.
Okay.
But what about you if you're giving notes? There's a way to do it.
Where do you go to learn that?
I learned it when I went through Act 1, through my mentors.
Yeah, but not everybody has those.
Right. I'm trying to think. I should do another one of these on how to.
Would you?
Yeah, I will.
We all need to know that.
It's really a skill that I had to learn, how to give good notes. And so why this writers group was so awful is the people did not know how to give notes. And so they were not gracious. They would attack you. They would get in arguments with you.
I can't imagine.
It was so cantankerous and antagonistic of a group. It did not help my writing at all.
No,
it made me frustrated and sad and upset every time I went.
And feel like a failure. So,
every time.
So why go back to it then?
Yeah, and
right?
I didn't. After a while, I didn't. Yeah, thank you for sharing your home and your time and your whole weekend. She's been my Seattle tour guide.
Oh, it's just been such a joy, such a wonderful experience.
Yeah.
I recommend it.
Thank you.
Invite Jennifer.
Thank you. That's really sweet. We gotta go see the Space Needle.
Right now.
All right.
Here we go.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Happy writing.